you for tuning into another episode of Help Nobody Told Me. I'm Jasmine Shapiro. I'm a realtor here in the North Shore of Chicago with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Here with my co-host, Jordan Kagan, who is the Man of Silver.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. We have another great episode of Help Nobody Told Me today. We have two people that I consider to be friends and people I trust and love doing work with. We have Trinetta and Jane, and they're with Blue Moon Estate Sales. Trinetta out of the western suburbs, and Jane handling the North Shore. And it's an overwhelming process sometimes when people have to either downsize or get rid of all the stuff in a loved one's home. And to have people you know, like, and trust to be able to help you with that process, I think is priceless. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And I just learned that you both are owners of a franchise at the two different locations, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Blue Moon's a national company with about 140 locations, and I always like to point that out to people because I think there's a ton of pluses that come with being a bigger company. Lots of resources.
Absolutely.
So you guys made a major pivot from corporate accounting to estate sales. Both of you, right? You both worked at a
Yes.
corporation before.
Yes.
So what pulled you into this world?
Got it. So I was the first one that left the company, and I actually came into doing estate sales because I enjoy organizing. Just a true passion for organizing homes. I used to do it in a freelance state where I would do people's pantries, their basements. And
So your house must be perfect.
No. I love when people assume that, but no.
It's like the
Unfortunately-
shoemaker's children don't have shoes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And a friend of mine from college actually had a Blue Moon on the south side of Chicago, and I started working with her as a stager to do the organizing. And due to the distance, I live in Oswego, and it's like Oswego to the south side every day.
It's too
So,
much.
and that's when I looked into pulling a Blue Moon onto the western suburbs, and that was my start. And then Jane here peeked at me on LinkedIn, maybe.
Yep. Yep. So we actually knew each other from the corporate world, both, at a big company, and I was doing a little soul searching myself, and it was still working there, but feeling like I needed a change. I had been there for about 25 years.
Wow.
And kind of just was asking myself, is this it? I could have easily retired from there down the road, and I thought, I don't know. There's at least another chapter in me, and wanted something where I could help people get involved in my community. So one night, soul searching, I saw Trinetta and what she was up to, and I think I called her the next day and wanted to hear all about estate sales and what she was up to.
Yeah.
How long have each of you been doing this now?
I'm starting my third year, so we have 2 full, complete years, and
Yeah.
we're into our third year now.
And I'm into my fourth.
So Jane, when you called and talked to Trinetta, was there an opportunity for you to buy a franchise right away, or did you work alongside her first to train, or how did that happen?
Yeah, Trinetta was a bit of a pioneer. She mentioned the one other location, but the locations so far for Blue Moon were all really in the south and in the east, and they hadn't fully moved up to the Midwest yet, and so it was wide open. And so I worked with her 1 week and did some staging. I was probably a little slower than she would have liked at the beginning.
Not at all.
There's a learning curve.
Oh, there's a learning curve, right?
For
there
sure.
It is. There always is.
But then helped with that sale that weekend, and thought, yeah, I can picture myself doing this. I loved learning about new things and loved meeting the customers and the interaction, and looked into the available territories and had opportunities to choose between a few.
Okay, nice.
So people hear the word estate sale, and they might think of the wealthier homes of Highland Park or Lake Forest or the high-end part of Naperville, if you're talking the western suburbs. Is that true?
Of course, there's those nice homes that need help as well, but I think it's a bit of a misnomer. Sometimes I think people are hesitant to call us because they think, I'm not in a huge mansion, and my parents, or ourselves didn't collect $1 million pieces of art or whatever. And I said, no. Like, estate sales are for everyone. And they don't even have to be necessarily because people have passed away. I would say more of my sales are for people downsizing for various other reasons. You know, maybe somebody's going to move to a condo near them or move out of state. But absolutely not. You know, everyone has treasures that, you know, people will appreciate. And it's just a matter of, you know, making sure that it makes sense for both people.
Yeah.
So can you kind of walk us through the process, like if somebody is thinking about downsizing or kids of seniors, or like who is your ideal client, or
Yeah.
is there one even?
And when it comes to the ideal client, it's really just someone who is at that space where they realize it's time for a move, because there's a lot that goes into that decision in order to have an estate sale. And one is really just those individuals that have a home that has just generations of stuff in it. That's definitely an individual that might want to look into hosting an estate
Can you
sale.
elaborate on what you mean generations of stuff and how this happened?
So a lot of times how it happened is over time. So first generations, right? We have great-grandparents, grandparent, parent, yourself. That's 4 generations of individuals whose items may still be in a particular home. And how it comes to be is, in some cases, someone has passed away or they've moved out of their initial home and now they're just in a different type of living arrangement, and you can't take everything with you. And so now that moves into another person's home. But then also you have things that move into storage units when people are starting to move. And so now you just have this accumulation because you never threw anything away. And you never went through it either. And so now you're at the space where you're downsizing yourself. You have all these generations of things that are now in your possession, and you're trying to figure out what to do next with it.
I always laugh when I have clients who are moving and they get overwhelmed, I think, and they just don't want to make one more decision. And so it's just easy to put it in a storage unit and I'll deal with it later. And then a year later, they're like, I haven't missed any of those items. I've never gone to the storage unit. Why am I paying all this money for a storage unit, right?
The worst is, you know, I've talked about it before in my personal life, my business world. I'm not sure if on the podcast, but 90%, close to 100% of all the square footage of self-storage space in the world is in the United States.
Really?
So we are a country that does not want to get rid of stuff.
Right.
And if grandma dumped her stuff on mom and mom has dumped it on you and no one liked that happening, I think reaching out to an estate sale company so it doesn't get dumped on another generation
Correct.
is really important. If you didn't
Or
like
put into a
something,
landfill.
Correct.
Thank you.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things that really appealed to me is that aspect of sustainability. It's that you're finding things that, yes, they're probably in boxes, these items in your home, not being fully appreciated, but there's people out there that truly would appreciate the items. And so I love being able to do that for people.
So what should people never, ever throw away before they call the two of you?
Ooh.
I have a lot of people that will start going through their own things and start donating an awful lot because they just want to be busy and start getting,
Disappear.
started getting started with the process and check things off the list. But frankly, your best estate sale is a variety of things. And so, it's, we don't love the calls that people said, oh, we've donated everything or we've sold everything on Facebook, but now we've got a house full of furniture. We're like, ooh. Yeah. It's great to have that variety of items. So I would say even down to, we sell clothing, we will sell kitchen items, tools. So those small things really make for a great sale, and I definitely encourage people not to get rid of those things before they talk to us.
Yeah, I would tag on to the don't throw away is the box of things that your grandma or great grandma or someone gave you and you never went through it. Don't just ultimately just throw that away. Now you do want someone with the expertise to come in and share with you what is important in that box, because you don't know what it is, and so you might throw away something that was really valuable.
And separately, do you have like resources to recommend people? You talk about that big box. It has old family videos or old family photos. Do you have like resources to recommend people to if they want to like digitize stuff? They're not going to sell the family photos.
Well, on the other side, they do sell the family photos.
Do they really?
They
really
really
old
do.
ones, are appealing to people. Yeah.
They really do. They really do.
Oh my
Like
God.
old black and white?
Yeah, old black and white had a whole photo album of photos, baseball team, baby births, and family was just like, we don't really know who these people are anymore. However, we do have resources where we could recommend for them to go and digitize when there are photos of family members that they do want to continue to hold on to, but not want to keep the big box of
Yeah.
photos.
And to that point, we have a very large network. I know I do, and Trinetta does as well, of experts in various fields. Jordan, you're one of them, that know a lot about the things that we may find in the home, whether it be precious metals or art or jewelry. I take pride in the fact that we have people and experts we can reach out to and really give the best advice to our clients.
Right, exactly. Because ultimately we want them to get the most value out of their possessions. They're number one as it relates to who we're working for, who we're supporting. It's the client. And so we want them to get more out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've noticed. I don't really try to avoid at all costs going to estate sales. People think I'm going to estate sales and garage sales to buy gold and silver, and I don't do that. But there's some, estate sales I've gone to, and like one I remember on a Sunday, and there was gold mixed in with the costume jewelry. So you really want to hire someone that dots their I's, crosses their T's, does their due diligence.
Exactly.
Because you want as much money in your pocket. And if you hire someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely.
So somebody contacts you. What would be like a typical person contact you? Because like grandma, grandpa passed away, and now we're in possession of so many things we don't know what to do with? Or who would be your,
Yeah.
Yeah,
typical?
that's one scenario, but we also, again, get a lot of people who will find us one way or another, whether it's through the realtor often or, luckily, we both have great reviews. A lot of times now
Yes.
people are searching on estate sale companies and looking for ones that, of course have done well in the past, but it's people moving for whatever reason. And sometimes it's young families that are just, moving to a different suburb. I've got one client right now, and they just have decided not to bring, everything with them. Sometimes it's people moving out of state. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
People, people whose children are out of the house or getting older, and they don't need the full space, and so they're moving. And so it really is a mix, I would say, of people downsizing for whatever reason.
Okay. So the famous question, is the Beanie Baby worth $1 million?
Do you want to break it to them, or do you want me to?
I love that because a lot of times we go into the home, that beanie is in a glass case, and the family is just all goo goo gaga over it. And no, because the $1 million Princess Diana beanie has already sold for $1 million. The person who wanted to pay that much for it, they have it already.
Yes.
So now every home that you go into, no, it's not worth the $1 million anymore. But individuals, they will look at eBay, they'll look at other resources online, and they'll see individuals asking for that. And it's an asking price. It's not the sale price. And so, no.
So you are saying on eBay, those people can go the extra mile and click sold price and actually see what it's sold for?
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly.
And that's very useful information.
And
'cause,
what percentage of your clients know they can click sold and see what it actually sold for?
I don't know if I can have a percentage on that, because as you were asking before, individuals that will call us into their homes, there are some very savvy individuals that are looking for an estate sale, and they've done that work already. They've went on eBay, they've clicked the sold and completed, sales, and have an idea of what some value is there. But then we still have to educate them even further that that's an item that's going to sit online maybe 2 months, 6 months to a year before it gets that price. Where an estate sale is going to be 2 days, 3 days, probably 2 weeks in advance of that, of advertising, and it's going to get a different price. So there's that education that has to be there. But like I say, some very savvy family members are asking us to do the sale for them, and things in their homes are really nice things that they would like to keep, but they don't have the space for that new chapter or that new living space that they're moving into.
Okay. So what's like a surprising item that actually will sell well but people don't expect it to?
Do you have a recent one?
I'm trying to think of something super surprising. I think because Jordan's here, gold and silver can add up to way more than people think.
Exactly.
Do you usually put the gold and silver out at an estate sale and then come to me afterwards?
I've done both, where
Yeah.
it's at the estate sale and then we come to you with whatever, doesn't sell for whatever reason, or sometimes we feel that we'd get the best rate through you, quite honestly, or don't want to risk any theft. So it's just all in
That's
all,
what I was
a
going.
better
Yeah.
solution.
Have you ever found anything that was like strange or memorable that you
Or
uncovered?
things you wouldn't even put an asking price on, it was just maybe too inappropriate?
Oh,
We
we've
find
seen the
strange things all the
inappropriate.
time. Inappropriate, strange, family members' ashes,
Oh,
gold
yeah.
from people's teeth. This is the weird side of
Yeah.
our business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the weird side.
We
But
did have a record once, which was how to strip for your husband, which is an actual record that I had never seen before in
Oh
my
my
life.
gosh.
And a gentleman did purchase it. We took pictures of them.
yeah. And it's
So that's
usually
always
from the
fun.
people, that you wouldn't expect it from, right?
Right,
That you
of
find
course.
those things in their
Yeah.
house.
So we always
That's
make
funny.
have fun out of it.
Yeah,
We
but
always
it's
have
funny
fun.
when you have those stories that you can remember it by. So I kind of asked you about like when people call you, like could you kind of walk us through the process, like what happens? Like, okay, either I'm a realtor, I have somebody, I let you know, they contact you. What happens next
So-
after that initial phone call?
After the initial phone call, we actually do free in-home consultations. And that is where we're actually going to walk through and assess. High level, but we're going to walk through with the homeowner, and they're going to share with us exactly what they would have as a part of the sale. And what we like to tell them is they do not have to be 100% sure of everything that would be a part of the sale at that time, but at least 80%. Because we are making a decision on, is there enough value here for you to host an estate sale, or should you get some other alternate resources in order to still remove everything from your home, because that's the ultimate goal, is to clear this home for its next chapter.
So I think that's probably a really valuable piece, right? Because then
Yeah.
people can then make a decision, which route do we go?
Absolutely.
So they've now contracted you, signed an agreement for you to do an estate sale. The next step, Jane.
Sure. So we align on timing and the date, but typically we only need a week in somebody's home, unless it's unusually large or usually unusual amount of items. But our team, we make sure we have the right staffing. We'll come in on a Monday for that weekend sale. It might be a little bit different depending on where you are. But then we, go through. My team is amazing. They arrange everything like a retail store. It really looks great. We bring in tables, tablecloths. We price everything. And then we're preparing for the most part for a 2-day sale. Again, it can be 3, it can be 1, but on average, almost all of our sales are 2 days.
Like Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday sometimes. But we host a sale for them. Of course, selling as much as we can. We really advertise extensively. That's key also. Blue Moon has an email that goes out every week to 200,000 people. Again, a benefit of being a national company. We've got a large distribution list. We also post on various sites. Estatesales.net is one. And often, 7, 8, 9,000 people will actually go and click on those
Wow.
listings and look at pictures. We'll put a couple hundred pictures on average on the site so people can get a feel for what's going to be available
Wow.
at each sale. And then, of course, we host the sale. As Trinetta mentioned, I like to consider ourselves full service in that, and I know Trinetta does these services too, but people want an empty home. At the end of the day,
That's what I was going to say. What
Yes.
happens to the stuff that doesn't sell?
yeah, at the end of the day, they want an empty home to be ready to sell or turn over to that next buyer, homeowner. And so we work with several charities in the area that will come and pick things up. We can drop them off, and also clean out companies at the very end. So, I mean, we've done it plenty of times where within a week, we get in that house, we organize it, have the sale, and week to 10 days, and the house is empty and either ready to be put on the market, or sometimes the house closes that next week within a few days after
Right.
our sale.
So I know how reputable Blue Moon is. You've also, I'm sure, heard of some not too reputable competitors. What are some of the red flags that you have heard from clients or maybe seen for people, our listeners, to pay attention to?
So one thing I would just say pay attention to is what's the offering. When it comes to their charges, is there a fee for everything that they're going to do for you? With Blue Moon, we're very one-stop shop, very comprehensive. We have a commission structure that includes the tables and tablecloths and shelving units and everything that we're going to bring in to get the house set up. And so, but there are some times where everything you do is a different charge. So I would say look out for that.
Yeah, for sure. I always tell people whether you choose us, obviously, is up to you, but look for somebody that's insured, somebody that's bonded, somebody that has the good reviews. I think there's a lot to be said for, when you see a mix of reviews from past clients, customers, you can really get a good feel.
Great advice.
So those are some of the things I would say.
Yeah, and if you need references, they should be able to provide you with references.
Yep, for sure.
All right, you guys ready for our lightning round?
Okay.
You're ready.
I think we asked you what was the most unexpected item you found in a home?
I'm going to go with ashes.
I'm going to go stick with the record.
Most valuable item you've handled?
Mine was a 24 karat Cuban link gold chain.
Wow.
And I would say like a bronze statue.
One thing people always overvalue.
I'm going to say furniture. Unless it's mid-century modern, and even still, they can overvalue that.
Yeah, furniture for sure, I would say.
One thing they always undervalue?
And we're going to go with the costume jewelry, not knowing that some of those pieces aren't costume.
Right. And I would just say small things in general add up to be a lot more than people expect.
That's interesting.
And when it comes to costume jewelry, I also was told by someone that the gaudier it is, the probably uglier we would think, that's what people are going for. So,
Do you agree?
I just get such a wide variety, but yeah. There's some pretty hideous stuff out there. and,
that you would just probably toss aside.
And the best thing is I have an amazing partnership with my wife. And when I started buying costume jewelry and selling at an antique mall, she's like, who's going to buy clip earrings? 2 years, 500 pairs of clip earrings sold. She realizes not everybody has pierced ears.
Right.
And there is a market for clip earrings. So
Good to know.
All right, what's the hardest part of an estate sale the public never sees?
I think with our sales, you come on that day of the sale and it looks beautiful. We take pride in how organized they are. It takes a lot of work to get to that point, but there's been several people working tirelessly throughout the week or the weeks before to have it look that good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. It's about taking a house that a person's living in to turn it into a shop that now people can walk through and actually enjoy walking through that
Yeah.
house. So yeah, it's really getting the house ready for the sale. So much goes into that.
Your favorite part of what you do?
I love that I'm a service, that I'm helping individuals that are going through a difficult or transition that's challenging for them. I really love giving them a check at the end of the sale.
Similar. I love the people aspect of it. Our clients, helping them through a time that's usually pretty stressful, whether it's because of a joyous occasion or not. It can be stressful. And then just, the customers. It's amazing. A lot will be repeat customers that will, I wasn't expecting that, that you see every week. And they come in and, say hello. And so definitely the people side of things.
That's beautiful. All right, one tip for families drowning in stuff.
I would say if you're drowning in stuff, start looking through it now. Like, don't just sit and wait, but I would say you can start to look through it now and really focus on what's meaningful to you, and then the rest you can just let it go.
The rest, give it to a storage unit, huh?
Let's stay in the storage unit.
Yeah.
But I would say, that's what I would say, start looking through it now,
Yep. And there's resources to help. We come in, we're
Or
independent.
call it, I was going to say call you.
Yeah. Call us.
And if they're not ready to move, then you have people like Mindy Leonard, Super Organized Spaces, SOS. And there are professional organizers that can also help go through this stuff.
Right, and then call you, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
why not
Yeah.
get money for it
Like I
instead
said,
of drowning it?
Still be at that 80% of knowing what you want to keep and get
Yeah.
rid of.
Right.
And nothing bothers me. You talk about the self-storage unit. To hear someone has had a couch in it for 10 years because they
That's
thought their
crazy.
kids would want. They just spent $6,000
I know.
over 10 years
Oh my God.
to store a couch that you're now going to get rid of.
Yeah.
And you could have replaced that couch for $2,000. So I do hear what you're saying about those self-storage units that are full too.
Yeah.
We hear those stories all the time. When things go to storage, I don't know. But I think they tend to sit there a little longer than
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
thinks they will.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having both of you on. We will have your contact information in our show notes, so if anybody wants to reach out, they will be able to get a hold of Trinetta in Naperville,
Yes.
and Jane, you're in the North Shore.
Yes, correct.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Help
Nobody Told Me.
Subscribe, share this episode to anybody who you think would find it of value, and we'll
Absolutely.
see you next week.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.